So, here we are. Good to see you guys. Got some interesting topics today. Last time we talked, it was actually a really good conversation with one of the viewers about, we were talking about the importance of health, your body, mind, spirit thing, where, just to kind of recap on it, basically what we were talking about is body has to be healthy because it holds your brain. Your brain is the vehicle that you use to access your mind, and your mind then can help you understand your spirit, and that's how you attain peace under this, belief or whatever, theory, or I don't know what you want to call it. But what we were saying is how flow, which is basically something that you have to play music, it's a predictive, something that your mind kind of tells you you're gonna have to do in a split second from now. Like riding a skateboard requires flow because you have to know that you're going to go over this bump and then that one over there and then the next curve around the pool or whatever. And we broke it all the way down into writing, because when you're writing, that takes flow because your mind is actually a split second ahead of your hand telling it what to do. And everybody has their own handwriting signature thing or whatever. Like you can determine or kind of fingerprint somebody and say, hey, this person wrote that because they do this every time. And so there's this flow print potentially that each person has that is their uniqueness. And so what we were talking about last time is that how maybe that flow print is what determines whether or not you go into the good portion of the afterlife or heaven or whatever, or if you have to stay here and try again or keep building yourself up. And so the two of the things that we had kind of touched on was that either life here on earth and your mind is like a locksmith that's creating a key kind of based on how you live and everything that you experience, that and including your flow, that would when you die, that print of you is what's going to unlock the pearly gates or whatever, allow you to pass into the next eternity of bliss or whatever it ends up being. And then the other side of that is if your flow print kind of creates like not necessarily a key, but it kind of determines your value or worth or ability or something like that in the next stage. Kind of like when you're in the womb of your mother, you're being built, and that's determining what you're going to be capable of once you get out into the world. And then maybe the world is determining what you're going to be capable of once you get out into the next world or whatever, afterlife. So that was super cool, man, because the guy I was talking with, his name was Dead King, or his tag name, whatever, is Dead King. Kind of spun it a little bit, and he's the one who added that locksmith view to where the mind has a different task or responsibility of creating the right key that's going to be unique and fit into the place that's available, or the lock that's there for him to fit into. And so that's the pass fail thing. Or maybe it's the key determines or just says this is what the next thing is, and it fits, and that's what you take with you, is that determination of how your mind and everything understood and your flow print is valuable past this without the physical body. Super cool thought process, man. Super cool maybe stuff. That was a real cool conversation. It made me think of something else too. How I like to refer to the Bible because I have easy access to it and around people that believe in it and stuff, so I can ask questions. And it's what I was brought up on, so I already have familiarity with it or whatever, a little bit at least. But there's the Noah's Ark in the Bible is when God talked to Noah and he told Noah, look, I'm going to flood the earth. Everyone's a piece of shit. And God's like, I fucked up. I'm going to kill everybody on earth except for you and your family. And I need you to gather up all the animals, 2 of every kind, so we can continue this life cycle after I wipe out all of mankind that was, a mistake or whatever. I didn't do it right the first time, or I did something that ended up falling apart. So I'm going to wipe it out, erase everything except for you guys, and we're going to start from there. And it kind of made me think about how metaphorically life on Earth is kind of like an ark. It has this giant, or whatever amount of people in it, similar to the ark, which only had however many Noah had, but this is a metaphor for how big this is, or maybe we each have our own little portion of the ark. And so if the earth is the ark and the life on earth is the ark that's taking us through this journey or whatever that's going to end when we discover land, when that dove comes back with a little olive branch, there may be some sort of, when we die, it's like, dude, there's the fucking, now I get it. It was that dove, dude, stuff's coming together. I understand. So maybe this life on earth and the biblical story about Noah's Ark is like metaphorical for how life in our portion of existence right now is in comparison to the big picture of eternal time and God's, all-seeing eye or whatever. And maybe that's just the only way we could comprehend it with our little tiny, brains that can't even see past one dimension. Like, what the fuck? So, maybe I thought that was kind of cool, dude. The earth is the ark, and it's carrying all of this organic matter that maybe the body is also the ark of what's in our mind that's carrying us to whatever's next, dude. In our mind, spirit is potentially that ark that we're loading. Maybe our body and mind is like the Noah, and we're putting everything into the spirit, or maybe we're putting, Noah is the ark, is the body, the mind is the. Okay, so the mind would be the ark, and then the body. Well, no, let's see. The body would have to be the ark, and then the mind would be the stuff that's in the ark, right? And then we're carrying that stuff that's in our mind with the ark that is our body to the destination, which is the spirit. Ooh, there you go. A little bit of duct tape, some twine, that shit makes sense. Call MacGyver, see how we can figure that the last part out. Cork, there you go, boom. Plug it in there. But I thought that was kind of a cool spin on Noah's Ark being a metaphor for different portions of our existence in real time life that we're experiencing right now. Oh, and then something, yes, the other day, I don't know when it was, I was talking about world peace is not possible because it puts responsibility on the world to have peace. But I missed this portion of that I should have added that I thought of, but I just didn't say it in that other video or live stream, whatever it was. But the reason world peace is also like a sham or whatever is that it places responsibility on the world to have peace as a whole. And that's the part that's impossible, because as a whole means that we all have the same peace. And I don't think we really have the same definition of peace. And so, Post! What's up, Dead King? I was just talking about you, dude. About our conversation last time about the locksmith and all that. But right now I was kind of adding something to something I said the other day about world peace not being possible because the world is placed responsible for having the peace. But I forgot a portion of the reasoning, and that's that world peace is not possible because it places responsibility on the world to have peace as a whole or as one. And I believe that, or I'm thinking that peace is an individual responsibility and it doesn't have to be the same. My peace isn't your peace necessarily. We actually talked about this last time. And so now it's coming back to me a little bit, but my peace isn't necessarily your peace. And so the whole peace, world peace, is, I think, delivered wrong, and everybody imagines this place where everybody has the equal definition of what their peace is, and that seems impossible because it is. My peace is not yours, but as long as my peace doesn't disrupt yours, we're still at peace. And so you have individual peace and world peace hand in hand. It's like the hand has to have fingers or something like that. But anyways, I had a bunch of things that I wrote down. Oh, okay, so another thing I was talking about thinking about about evil. This thing about people being evil, some religions, Christianity mostly is what I'm familiar with, says that you're evil, like you are evil and you're a sinner and you're born that way, and fuck you, too bad, bro, you're a fucking evil sinner. So it's like, dude, and then we see people doing things that are like, damn, that's evil, that's not peaceful, it falls out of the peace thing, all of a sudden it becomes evil. So do people do things because they are evil, or are they doing things because, or are they good and they're doing something with that, being a good thing, but they're just misusing it or misunderstanding it or doing something that's shooting the wrong direction because of the earth quaking around them with all these opinions and different things. Stand over here, no, stand over here, no, stand over here. It's never right. You can't satisfy the world. And when we're trying to, it feels impossible because it is. And so it seems like that's the case to me, but it's like if we're evil and there's just evil people and they're just fucking, dude, this dude's evil. Like, you're never going to change this guy. Is there a cure to evil? Is evil like a sickness? And can it be cured? And if it can, is there only one cure or one path to ridding yourself of evil and discovering your goodness? Or is there multiple paths and it doesn't really matter how the fuck you get there as long as you're not a dick and you be nice? Okay? I don't know what it is. And is if it is something like that, it also sounds like maybe it's a skill. Is being good a skill set? Can I perfect my goodness? I feel like you kind of can. Or at least direct it until it becomes the way you go because you're rolling down that hill and it's just what I do. I don't know if that's something that you would be changing on the inside of yourself versus altering how the inside comes out. I believe, or I feel like, the inside is good, and how it makes its way out and leaves our body or our being, that's where the confusion happens, and that's where the evil comes from. It's not that you're evil at the core and that you're just putting that shit out because that's what you're full of. I feel like you're doing it for what you think is the right reason, or to be accepted, or to slide under the shadows, or not face whatever's fucking with your head because of the real world dumping, whatever that real world thing is that you're dealing with. And so then people act out from that, or through that, from their goodness, through their bullshit that they're dealing with, and then that's why it filters out and looks ugly on the outside, or ends up exiting them as something that's perceived by others as ugly or evil. It feels like I don't like being told I'm evil. Fuck you. You're evil. I don't like that shit. Don't fucking tell me what I am. You know what I'm saying? I know what the fuck I am. I'm good. I don't do shit for evil. There's nothing in me telling me to do evil shit or have it be attractive in any way, shape, or form. I'm not evil. And so I feel like most people would tell me that same thing, although they might do things that end up feeling like they're evil from other perspective. That's where the individual peace thing comes in. I think those people don't have peace inside, and that's why they're acting that way. Not because they're evil to the core and they're just shining their dark star. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's the case. If it is, I don't believe that I've ever met anyone like that. And so if those people are out there, they're really good at hiding it, or we're all that so we can't tell the difference, or they're not as common as we would, or as some religious beliefs try to make it seem, like everybody is one. Maybe there's just a couple of them out there or something. You know, I don't know, man. I know people do shit that's hella evil seeming, but it feels like the reason it comes out of that is because it filters through their whatever's been dumped on them over life, and that's how they're doing it right now because of all that other shit they're dealing with. They don't have peace inside. Peace inside doesn't want to fuck with other people. It doesn't. Peace doesn't want other people to be unhappy. Peace is good. It's like, you know. Anyways, it doesn't seem like we're evil inside. I don't like being told I'm evil. That's a huge turnoff for me to any religion that tells me that I'm evil and they're going to fix me with their evil men that are going to teach me right. Fuck you. That's what I have to say about that. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that already, though. So I think people are not evil for the most part, but they can do things that are perceived as evil. Or they're just being a dick. They're not being nice. If you're nice, you're not evil. And so, oh, and another thing too that I was just noticing the other day that I did, and I was like, I'm going to do this. I got to make sure I do this, right? Is the recognition of offers of kindness. Show people thanks. When someone does nice things for you, tell them thank you. Recognize it with appreciation in the form of verbalized, you know, thanks. Like, thank you for this. That was awesome. I appreciate it. Give them a hug or whatever you're capable of doing physically for them, depending on your relationship, or just, you know, drive it home. Because when you do something nice for somebody, when you do things, so break it down, when you do anything you do it because you know that the person's going to react in a certain way, and that reaction that they give is going to give you a feeling. If I have something good to deliver, I'm like, oh, dude, I can't wait to tell this person the good news. They're going to be so happy. I'm not doing it to necessarily make them happy. That's the kind of like the process of getting what I want. They're going to be happy, and that knowing that I made them happy and did something that made them happy is going to give me happiness. Happiness grows itself out. It's a proof of it right there. And so happiness breeds happiness. And so when you do something nice for somebody, you're anticipating the feeling that you were anticipating of them being happy. And so when someone does something nice for you, give them that reward. Let them know, thank you, dude, that was so awesome. I really, really, really appreciate you for that. Thank you so much, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just acknowledge the offers of kindness, and pay them back with what they gave you that offer of kindness for, which is a reaction of happiness and appreciation. You know what I'm saying? Spread the love, bro. That's pretty seems like common sensey or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's not though. And what else is I wrote something else down? Oh yeah, about trusting ourselves, and this kind of goes back into the evil thing. Is that we do trust ourselves, no matter what. Actually, this is different than the evil thing. This is something else now that I looked at the rest of my note here. But this is talking about we do trust ourselves, no matter what. You trust yourself. It's just kind of acknowledging that you're trusting yourself that I think is what becomes difficult. But you do trust yourself because we have to. In order, every action that we do, in order to start that action and finish that action, we have to trust ourselves to be able to know that that's an action that's a good one, that we're not going to get hurt, that we're not going to fucking burn the neighbor's house down or whatever. So we trust every single bit of anything that we do. So we 100% trust ourselves. Now, we sometimes have doubt in what we're doing being the perfect decision, but that's something you can't avoid because outcomes and variables are part of trusting yourself. Knowing that you're considering those variables is something that you assure yourself that trust in yourself to make that decision that you concluded is a good one. And then you move forward with it because you trust yourself. And so we trust ourselves. Done. Okay? But we're confused and kind of shown or inundated with information that makes us feel like trusting ourselves might not be a good idea because there's always somebody else telling you to do it a different way, or this is how I do it, or no, that's wrong. Oh, whoa, watch out. You don't know what you're messing with. It's like, that's backwards, upside down. It's like, dude. So it's hard to trust yourself when everyone else is doing something completely different. But at the end of the day, when you really look at it, you are trusting yourself no matter how confused you are. At the end of the day, you trust yourself to even just be like, fuck this, I'm closing my eyes, I'm throwing it. You trusted yourself that that was the best thing to do. Okay, so we trust ourselves. That's it. All right. Now, what is that? Why is that important to me? Is because with religion, I find this is where I come to a roadblock. I'm like, okay, so I trust myself. What part of me am I trusting in that would, hey, bless you too. That's the Dead King. Thank you for joining me. So what part of yourself are you trusting in, and what information have you attributed to being right when you chose your religion? Because we're born, we have all these choices. There's a freaking ton of choices of religions that we could join or believe in or dive our heads into and say, this is what I'm going to do. But we end up choosing one. How did we get to that one? What made me choose my religion and you choose your religion and say all the other ones are false? This is it. I have 100% faith in this. This is what it is, and I'm not even considering anything else. This is it. How did you come to that conclusion and decide that you figured it out and I'm going to trust myself? Because we trust ourselves. You had to trust yourself that religion, this is your eternity we're talking about. This is a big decision. It's not like a cookie. What kind? Do you want chocolate chips or not, dude? This is fucking eternity. And you made a decision to trust in a certain book, typically. And it's like, dude, what made you choose that? What did you attribute to that being something valuable, true, right? So much so that nothing else even takes consideration. They're actually considered evil. Not only are they a maybe stuff, these are the devil because they're not with us, they're against us. And I'm like, that is super hard for me to fit into my head when I talk with somebody who's so sold on their religion and speaks from the standpoint of fact, like, oh, well, this book says that this is how it is, and God wrote that book. And it's like, how the fuck do you know that, dude? Actually, God didn't write that. A man wrote it. You know a man wrote it. You're just saying that his hand was written by God or some shit. How do you fucking know that? You don't. You don't. So blind faith is the bridge of trusting yourself that's the one thing that prevents you from trusting in yourself, which is what you make all decisions on for everything else that you consider good enough to do. But you don't do that with religion, with your eternity. You just close your eyes and say, fuck it, this is the one, and jump in, because mommy said it was. That's what I think is usually what happens, is that's what you were raised in. You're comfortable with that, so that's what you stay with, because that's what you, when you think of God, this name or book or something comes into your head. But outside of being told by your family members, how, dude, it just, the biggest roadblock for me, because I can't use faith. Faith to me is kind of insulting or something. It feels like insulting to me. It's telling me not to think and use my brain to figure something out and to close my eyes and just believe it, even though my brain doesn't agree. It doesn't have trust in what decision I'm about to make. It has to get to a point where it says, I don't trust this, I can't figure it out, all the options are so confusing, I'm going to close my eyes and just jump. And I'm going to do that because my parents told me to do it. My parents do it, and I've been to a room where there's a bunch of people who said that they're doing it too. And so that's what I'm going to attribute to going against what trusting myself. Because if you trust yourself, and you're really honest with yourself, you know you don't know, and you're making that decision blindly based on information. I have no idea what the fuck it is other than seeing other people blindly do something. Just, I don't know, man. That's something that I just can't get past. I wish I could, or I don't like to use the word wish. I don't wish for anything. I would like to have somebody explain to me how they concluded that their religion is the right religion and have it make sense to me. I'd like it to be something that you can write down, and if it's true, you can write it down. Not to say that everything you write down is true, but if it's true, you can write it down. I think. I don't know how far that goes, but it seems to me like it would need to be something that I can explain in writing in order for my brain to trust that it's something worth committing to for an eternity. Okay, so the fear of being judged. So we got one of our viewers, Dead King, said the fear of being judged by family or neighbors in the religion situation is a bit messed up, don't you think? Fear of being judged by family or neighbors in the religion. Yes, dude. So this is something that, yes, I do think is totally messed up. And, hold on, I'm sorry, guys. I gotta change something here. It's getting in my way, man. So, yes. Okay, dude, that's something that is like a disqualifier all the way to me, too. Because in my version of peace, you don't do that. Peace is peace, and it's something that goes around. It's like a marble. It rolls where it goes, and it's still a fucking marble. It's a peaceful marble inside. It's just, it's there. You don't, it's responsible for itself. It can be broken. It's not bulletproof, okay? Things can destroy your peace if they try hard enough, only because we're not strong enough, and some things just tear your roots out, and it's hard. Okay, you can lose focus. I get that, and we're humans, no one's perfect. But there is something that is in you that can be attained, and I consider it peace, and it's something that goes with you. It goes with me. But yes, the whole being in a religion where we're here because we're here for God, for goodness, for eternity. We're doing the right thing with our entire life, and then having people who or maybe family members disagreeing with that, or people in the religion who have a different view of that same religion and what's acceptable, because that happens, and then other neighbors, like you're saying, or just anybody in public that has a different religion, or even the same religion with a different view on it, can just be a real pain in the ass. But that, I guess that's kind of how life works, though, because one thing I know for sure that's one of the undeniable truths at least as the world stands now and has been up until this point, is that no matter what you believe, most of the world won't agree with you. So even within a religion, you're going to find that. And definitely within religions next to each other, or as far apart on the spectrum as you can get, you're going to find that. And that's kind of what that talks about, or what the point of that is that no matter what you believe, no matter which religion you're in, all the other ones are going to say you're wrong. And that's true with everything. All the way down to whether or not I should have a haircut like this or wear this t-shirt in public. Okay? So, you know what I'm saying? I don't even wear deodorant. And never have. Alright? So, some people are like, what the fuck's your problem, dude? Nothing. What's your problem? Alright? People do things differently. We have to be able to accept other people's differences and not act as if they're not going with the whole world peace that I talked about in the beginning of the video as being impossible, because whole world peace gives the impression of whole peace where everybody has the same definition of peace. And what we're discussing now is kind of a point of how that doesn't work because of what you're talking about. Everyone's peace isn't the same. Religion confuses that and tries to make it say if it's not the same, it's wrong. And I think that's part of what's wrong with religion, is that it doesn't work that way. Even God of that religion knows he's not going to get everyone. So we're not talking to the people who are God's going to get, that God, whatever he is. We're talking about the other people. And there's always other people. None of the gods think they're going to get everyone. They all know that some of them are going to go somewhere else. So we're talking about them. Like, everybody has their own vision of what they think is right. The only way to make it work as a whole is if everybody's happy with theirs and doesn't mind what the other person's doing, because the other person is at their peace, and that peace doesn't want to disrupt your peace, because that'll end up coming back and disrupting theirs. And that understanding and happy to see somebody else happy, it spreads. Just like when somebody does something nice for me and I say thank you and they get happy because I told them thank you and I really appreciate it. That's what they were coming to give me, something nice so that they could get that impression. And then I give it to them. Boom, we just doubled the happiness. Gave me some, boom, I got happy. I gave him some back. Boom, he got happy. He's going to take that happiness with him, and so am I. And then hopefully that's going to multiply. If he came up and slapped me in the face, same fucking thing, spit on me, and I'm like, what the fuck? And we get in a fight, we're both pissed off, we both leave. Ugliness is going to come out of that when we leave. We're going to take that with us. Peace knows this. Peace doesn't want any of that shit. Peace is happy for you to be happy doing what you're doing, being happy. Happiness is happy for me. I'm glad you're happy, man. Good for you. You like chocolate? So do I. You like sprinkles on it? I don't. Enjoy those sprinkles, bro. Here, you can have mine. They gave me some too. That's what peace is. Doesn't matter what you like. Just don't spit on mine. You know what I'm saying? And peace doesn't do that. So what does do that? Religion. Religion says, I'm right, you're wrong, you're going to hell. Fuck you and everybody in your family because they're evil and they're trying to ruin eternity for everyone else. Fuck, dude. Nice, bro. Sounds like we're going to hit world peace with that attitude. Not. It's fucking so obvious, dude, to me. It just seems like religion is evil, bro. I don't know how else to put it. Religion is the problem with the world. That's it. Done. I mean, it's all these little piles. I talk about it every time I end up on this shit, because it's like the meaning of life. What are you going to do? Those are the key players in the meaning of life, is all these dumbass religions who are trying to point shit out. It's not dumbass. I'm dumbass. Your religion's awesome. Your God kicks ass. Praise him or her, it, or whatever it is, and just, feel for me, because I'm going to burn in hell, or whatever I'm going to do that you say, because I didn't listen to your God. All right? I'm cool with that. So I'm going to bring my peace with me to hell, or wherever I go, and it'll still be there with me. Maybe. That's a joke. Anyways, that's what I think about that. I don't know. I can spin around on that for about a million freaking years. But to me, that's the problem. Religion divides. It doesn't unite. It doesn't accept division, even if it's happiness while you're divided. It is only happy if you're burning and everyone else is in glory. It's not going to work that way. It never will. And the only way that works in any scenario, including the scenario of the creator of that book, is when God comes back and kills everybody again who didn't follow the rules. And that's it. Then he's going to take the ones that he wanted or whatever. So, believe what you will, but as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't sound like anything I'm interested in participating in. Although my peace allows you to have your peace so long as you find it in that, and don't tell me I'm an evil demon, whatever the fuck. I'm not telling you that shit. You're going to heaven, dude. You're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing for you. Okay? And that's okay with me. I'm not concerned with you being happy with what you're doing. Okay? As long as your happiness doesn't involve telling me that I'm evil and whatever. And my happiness or my peace doesn't necessarily involve telling you you're a dumbass for believing that stupid shit, but it's part of what I think, and I can say that without any kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Any kind of hate to you. Okay, it's more. I don't think that you're going to. Well, see, I feel like it's hard for me to spit this out because I do kind of feel like that. I do kind of feel like religion is evil, and I do kind of feel like it's fucking up the world. And so I don't know if I'm having a hard time saying this because I'm contradicting myself in my brain as I say it. So let's see, Dead King might help me out here. Okay, so Dead King said, religion is a subject many avoid to talk about, mainly not to upset anyone. Hopefully more people will be understanding of the subject and stuff. Yeah, so to me, with regard to that, Dead King, I agree. They say don't talk about religion and don't talk about politics. And I think that's it. There's another one I think I can't remember. But religion and politics, because there's such a sharp edge, right? But to me, religion isn't necessarily what I'm talking about. It's more the search for the truth or the meaning of life, if there is one, or just trying to understand what the fuck this existence is or what it's all about. Oh yeah, genders too. That's a big thing now. Sexuality and that's its whole own topic. I did a video about that called gayness. And whatever, dude. To me it's like I don't necessarily think that there's a sin for people to do that. I just think it's fucking gross. I don't have any problem with women doing it for some reason. I just, whatever. Go ahead. I would do that too, So, but, the dude thing is just like, oh my God, I can't handle that shit. It's nasty. I just don't want to see it, but I'm not going to go around killing people just because they want to fucking stick a dick where I wouldn't even think about doing it, That's everybody's choice. You like chocolate chips, I don't, whatever. So, same opinion for you too. Yeah, it's like, whatever. To each their own. That's more like a spice of life thing that doesn't make sense to some people and does to others, just like one person's religion versus another one. If we can all get along while we're doing that, it's all good, This, like I say in my video, I'm just like, dude, keep that shit in private. Don't be doing that shit in public. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. It's gross. I'm not out here doing that shit in public either. And I definitely don't want my kids to see it. It's like, just have some common courtesy, decency, or respect. That's it. Just like everybody else. Whether you're man, woman, man, woman, I don't give a shit. You're making out with a dog. Do that shit in your own room, dude. Don't be doing it out in public. That's it. Me ruining my lunch because I gotta watch two dudes lick each other's face and shit. Ugh. So, whatever. That's that. I don't want to get too spun out on gayness or whatever. But, Yeah, the trusting in ourselves that we're talking about. Oh, I was also thinking about something too about how computers crash, right? Like if you're doing your computer, something happens weird, but crashes. And I've been doing a lot of meditation stuff lately. And sometimes in my meditation techniques, like one of them in particular, I try and focus on the absorption of light and the transfer from everything I'm seeing, which is basically light, entering my eyeball, and then it does something in my brain, and then I see an image. And so trying to focus on that transfer of light to brain connection, whatever the fuck that is, I like to try and find that in my mind and feel it happen or experience or watch it or whatever it happening. And when I do that, sometimes it feels like my brain is gonna glitch or crash or something, and it's like, dude, am I gonna fucking get stuck in some sort of weird fucking dink 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 skipping record brain or some shit? It kind of feels like that might be possible if you just think too hard or something. I don't know. I haven't done it, I don't think, but I was thinking about that the other night when I was laying there trying to absorb light in the dark. You know, you can still, there's a little bit of light coming in, and then feel that, and it just kind of felt like I got into this part of my mind or my brain where it was like I was a little out of control. Like, oh fuck, what am I doing in here? I don't know what's. Don't touch that light or that switch. No, don't push that button. Don't step on that. Something like that. I was a little like, fuck, should I be doing this? So it made me wonder about that. I wonder if you can. It almost feels like it might actually be a thing that can happen. I've never heard about it. I don't know how I would hear about it. I guess somebody would have to do it, but then they would be all fucked up. How would they explain what happened? I guess maybe they could, depending on how fucked up they got. Maybe we see people out there that are all weirded out and shit. That could be the case. Maybe they just over meditated, straight cracked their brain. Don't know, but I'm gonna keep meditating because the shit feels good. I just kind of had that little thought that went through my head the other night when it started to feel little bit like I was in a room full of switches that I didn't know what the switches did and buttons and stuff, and I was like, oh, don't touch them, they're everywhere, something like that. Not visually exactly like that, but just the whole experience or whatever. But another thing I was thinking about actually this morning that's pretty interesting is that the womb, like when we're in our mother's womb, at least me, I imagine, I'm this ball of whatever skin, and I'm developing into something with no memory or no cognitive thinking, or, I don't really know what the fuck's going on. I'm just reacting and stretching and growing and whatever. It's just happening. But then this morning I was thinking about how the other day I was talking about how maybe Earth is like the womb, our Earth life is like the womb. So we start in the mother, that's our womb life, and then we're born, and we're born into Earth, and that's our Earth life, and then we die, and then we go to our afterlife, whatever that is, and maybe the one after that, and after that, who knows how many there are. And so I was thinking about that and how our Earth life that we're in now is hella complex, dude. We've got all these freaking things going on, decisions, and then I was also thinking about what Dead King and I were talking about, how maybe our life here and our flow signature, or our flow print, whatever makes us unique here, is carried into the next, or unlocks the next, or makes a print on the next that gives us value into the next afterlife. And so this life part is like really important and intricate and complicated, and requires us to be involved in making decisions and flow with it, right? In order to get that outcome at the end of life that maybe we touched on. Whatever it is, at the end of the life, you're going to have an outcome of some kind. And it feels like, since time goes on, that part of us in some form will continue on, and that's the spirit, right? So no body anymore. And the mind, we don't know about how that's going to transfer over. That's what we were talking about with the key and the print, fingerprint and all that. So while I was thinking about this, I started to think back into the womb life again, before we were born, and thinking about how potentially, since we're in this life now, in the earth life, we know what it's like ish, right? Pretty much know what it's like. Know how to do stuff, know what hurts, know what feels good ish, right? And then the afterlife, when we're dead, we're like, I don't know, man. That's some shit we don't know. This life we know about, the next one we don't know about, and then the one before this one, when we were in the womb, we kind of generalize as something that we experienced and can understand ish from the outside looking in through science and all this, right? But we can't actually go through that experience again. And, or, we can't experience that experience again. And so it made me think about how maybe that womb life was just as complex as this life, but in a different way. Kind of like, so this, when you do psychedelics, you'll have these little dreams or a trip where you're just, you're there, and all of a sudden the next thing you know, you're thinking about this thing that kind of fucking totally makes sense, and oh my god, that's why this does that, and it all just kind of fucking works, and it feels relevant, and it feels like you heard it, or you remember it now, or some shit, right? So it made me think about how in the womb, potentially, our complex life there, and how that print, what we do on the earth life, how there's the locksmith and the print that goes on to our flow print that impacts our spirit life potentially. Maybe we did that in the womb too, with cognivity in some sort of spirit form. If it's a circle and that's where we're starting, we're going to go back. So if we're going back to the same place we started from, if we were in the womb and still had one toe in where we started from, kind of, or had that thought wave process similar to something we don't understand, like the afterlife thought wave process that we hope continues, maybe we had something similar to that spirit form thought wave process that I was likening to those little dreams that you can have that feel like you're finding something in fucking existence. Like it's more than just your mind and outside of your mind, everything. It's like the fourth dimension or some shit. I don't know where all that stuff comes from or where it is, but it's fucking there. And so that could be something that in the womb we're actually already making decisions that are building and determining kind of what we're going to have and or be capable of or whatever when we come into the real world. So we might have some kind of responsibility for how we came out based on the attention we gave to what we were supposed to be doing, or how quickly we recognized what we were supposed to be doing, or how good we were at what we were supposed to be doing in that. Just like in life, there's different levels of skill and all that. There's probably that in the same form in that womb life space in your mind or wherever you are that is putting yourself together. This is how I think it's going to work. This is what I think's the best. Oh shit, I dropped something. Fuck! I'm being born! Ah! It was too late. I didn't have a chance to fix it. And then you come out and you're fucked up. You look like me. Like, damn, I should have done that thing where I was way better at other stuff when I was in the womb life. So maybe we have some sort of a much more complex involvement during womb life that we just can't remember. And potentially, when the psychedelic experience happens, we're touching into something that we've already experienced during the womb life that carried over into this life, but it's in a different part of our conscious that we can't attain, that always tap into here in the world, in the earth world, because that's just how it works. I don't know. And then when, the psychedelics might help tap into that memory of things that were happening, and that could be why there's certain limitations on how far you can even go within that psychedelic experience, because it's basically just tapping into stuff that you already had happen or something, because a lot of times, like, for example, music, when you're in the womb, if you heard music outside of your mother's womb, who knows what that shit's gonna sound like. It went through skin, clothing, water, fucking is all in there. You can hear your mother breathing and shit. Dude, this fucking sounds hella trippy, bro. I mean, that whole experience, if you were witnessing it, would be like, what the fuck? And you don't even know what you're, like, what? You have no reference. There's nothing there. It's just your mind, dude. You're just in there, just like you are when you're tripping balls psychedelic. You're just in your space inside this fourth dimension or whatever the fuck you go. And so maybe that's what's happening in there, and we bring it with us out here, but we just don't recognize it or can't tap into it without the help of something that we use out here that opens something or reconnects or whatever. And then we're like, oh fuck, this is so real and meaningful, and I remember this shit. Maybe that's because we really do. And so if that's the case, is that experience that we were potentially having associated only with the brain, or is it also to do with the experience of the spirit before the brain was fully developed and the body was being developed? And potentially that body, mind, spirit comes back to body. And there is like something there that is, repetitious or something like that, reliant on it, on each other, all the way back to the beginning. It's hard to see how that spirit, which we kind of see at the end of the line, or like the one, right, that these other two are kind of like trying to achieve or get to, it's hard to imagine that that actually comes back somehow down and has interaction with the first part at the base of the body while you're still in the womb, potentially. And now I'm thinking about something that the Dead King and I were speaking of, about how what you do here in this life that we're experiencing now potentially affecting your spirit. And if that thing you did now potentially affected your spirit, and that spirit potentially affects your next journey, maybe we're accruing knowledge and experience or something that eventually will add up to freedom. That's what Buddhism believes. That we're in this toil of three things: birth, death, rebirth. And we just go back and forth until we figure it out, and then boom, we're off. We're free. You get enlightened when you discover whatever it is you discover, when you become enlightened according to their belief. And then you escape the vicious cycle of birth, death, rebirth that kind of is a little bit of what we're talking about. Maybe a little bit. So it feels like the potential of having a complicated, complex involvement in the womb life through mind only, and or a mix of mind and spirit, is a possibility at least. And it seems as if that information, if happening in the womb, would still be somewhere in your brain. Everything you hear goes in there and it just falls down. It's hard to dig up later, but it's in there. A picture will remind you, or a story or something will be like, oh fuck, dude, that's what I remember. That shit, I would have never remembered that if there wasn't a picture. And so maybe this information and that experience we had in the womb is something that comes with us out here, and it's very, enriching, or it feels really good to access. And so maybe that's what we're experiencing in the psychedelics, rather than, it's speaking to a god or something. You're speaking to your own being, or you're experiencing your own being before you were in this form or in this earth world. And maybe that's what feels so trippy and good, because it seems like life in the womb would have been something crazy, dude, with trippy, weird, I don't know where the fuck I am, it's only me, no walls, no ego, just me, my pure goodness, what it's all about, nothing to distract me. It's focus time before the fight. I'm in here, okay, let's do this, boop, 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 pack that in there, that's how I'm gonna do this, boom, 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 okay, I'm born. And then, you were in there practicing for the fight. Here we are trying to handle that shit. I don't know what the next step is, though. When the fight's over, that's the big mystery. Got to read the Bible, I think, and we'll figure it out. But anyways, that's kind of it. And I think that's all I really had notes on today that I was thinking of. And we're just running at about 55 minutes right now, so we'll be cutting this off here in a minute. But another thing, I know I can touch on something that we had just spoken of the other day, and I read a little bit about it, the Illuminati. Okay, so the other day, I don't even know how it got brought up. We were at the house and somebody said something, and I was like, the Illuminati, I've heard of this. What the fuck's Illuminati? And then people started talking that were in the room, and they're like, oh yeah, it's this, and they're controlling the world, and it's the devil. And I'm like, that's so old. Oh yeah, the Illuminati. I know. Actually, Illuminati originated in. I did some reading. Okay, but it's because nobody had a good explanation, and everyone was just like spouting out all these things: devil, evil, conspiracy, fucking. But nobody had anything other than that. And when I asked, well, what is it? Like, how did it? And everyone's like, oh, it's the devil. I'm like, all right, dude, I gotta look into this shit. So I checked it out. Actually, it is in opposition of religion, so I understand why religion claims it to be evil, because it was basically this dude, Adam, what, Weinhaus or some German guy, Adam something, Johann Adam something or other. He discovered it, or he created the Illuminati, which is kind of like the Freemasons. It's basically, and they ended up the Illuminati group and the Freemasons kind of were in, I don't want to call it a battle, but they're in uncooperative cooperation with each other, something like that. And so, anyways, the Illuminati is started by this guy Adam or Johann Adam Weinhoff, whatever it is, and he it was a meme for some time, a long time ago, yeah. But it's basically, people think that there's this Illuminati group behind the scenes that are like running the world and trying to make one world government. And kind of that's what it was. I mean, basically what it was is this guy, Adam Weihofs, and he started this society to, in opposition of religious rule that basically said, this is it, fuck you, and no other way, you know. And Illuminati was more about human happiness to perfection, something like that. Everyone should be happy, everyone should be good to each other, everyone should, I mean, it was a good thing, dude. It wasn't some evil, schemy plan, it was just to do it outside of Catholic religion, basically. In 1770 something or other, 1770s, somewhere in the 1770s, this all happened, or a good portion of it. It started right around there, 1770 something. And so basically, this dude was trying to recruit people in power and in positions of government and religion and, you know, higher uppers to kind of be like, look, dude, this is all fucked up. Let's do it like this. We have this set of rules that is humane, and it's about being good. Like, the bottom line, I can't remember all the rules or details about it, but it was basically an outline of being good. And it was based around do unto others as you would have them do unto you, but do it because you're a good person, not because God said. Because if you're listening to the wrong God, you might not be doing it right. Listen to man, you know, it's more like a human based, be good because you're a human. And that's it, dude. And it kind of went back and forth with the Masons and trying to agree on how those two groups would do it, you know, next to each other and or kind of a little bit mixed together. But essentially they had this similar goal, and that was human happiness through kindness and treating people how you would want to be treated, and doing it by putting people that agree with that, recruiting people that are in power to join that group so that they could help put it into the world and make the world a better place and not require one religion or another to do it. And so religion is definitely not going to like this. Actually, the Catholic Church is heavily supported the illegalization of that kind of thing, which happened in this time period called the Enlightenment era or something like that, where basically, you know, the Freemasons and the Illuminati and other groups were trying to be happy and free without having to be Catholic or have their heads cut off. So it was just something like that. It's nothing, it's not the devil. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, everybody's talking about the devil and this If the devil's that powerful, why doesn't he just come out and fucking whoop everyone's ass? Like, what kind of dumb shit is this, dude? It's like, I don't know, whatever. These beings that are supposed to be so eternally powerful are pussies and can't do shit. Can't even make their own humankind the right way. And the devil, who's supposed to be the ultimate ruiner, can't do it either. And we're supposed to be held accountable for figuring it out. Whatever. Anyways, Illuminati's not the devil. Okay, I looked into it. It's just a bunch of guys who are trying to do the right thing and do it because they're good people instead of doing it because they followed a book and other things that they disagreed with within the book that, you know, like all religion does with itself even. And so that's it. I just thought that Illuminati thing was kind of interesting and wanted to touch base on it a little bit because I was talking about it just yesterday with some other people. But after reading up on it a little bit, I just, you know, it is what it sounds like it would be. Somebody trying to be good for the reason of good instead of the reason of the establishment, and the establishment got pissed. Done. And then the establishment ended up winning because they made it all illegal. This all happened in like Bulgaria or something, Bolivia or something starts with a B. And so, anyways, that's it. Today is about over. We're here for about an hour. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for all your cool comments. And we'll see you next time. I'm going to try and do this every weekday at 11. So you guys remember, like always, be nice. 91.5 FM on the radio, KUSC.org on the internet. These places just kick ass. The mission of the day and of the year and of every whatever. Tell a friend, dude. You got to tell a friend. Go get a friend. Tell them to subscribe to the channel. All right? That's it. That's the fee for watching this. Maybe I should pay you, but whatever. Anyways, tell a friend anyways. Like the video, subscribe. We'll see you next time. It was a fun conversation. Thanks for participating. And bye.